In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Two Buck Sports Show. I am your co-host, Rusty Buckets, checking in with my guy, Drew Gann, while I got him before Extreme Impact hits Northeast Mississippi. Drew, how you feeling heading into the weekend?
You know how we often dread the Grizz PR Twitter machine drop? This is worse. I keep up with the weather from this guy named Ryan Hall. If you can find him on YouTube, Ryan Hall, y'all. He's the greatest, okay? He's actually a Mississippi State grad. One of the things that Mississippi State does really well is the meteorology department, apparently. And he does did the YouTube route instead of like the network television route. And he's great. And he put out a thing this morning and it said, it just got worse. If you live in the purple areas, expect cataclysmic ice. And I looked and I had to zoom in and there's just a very little purple on the map of the Southeast. And I'll be danged if it's not Corinth, Mississippi, and the surrounding areas. Like, oh, good Lord. I don't know when you'll see me again.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me incredibly nervous for you and for my family that's in Corinth. Like, it looks like that's kind of the epicenter. Like, the whole, like, 74% of the country is covered by this storm. And then one little bitty sliver of cataclysmic, historic, extreme impact covers the area that you cover. And then where my family is in Northeast Mississippi. And so you don't love to see that. I remember the ice storm of 94.
You were like 14 at the time.
I was 7. I vividly remember that. Like walking around our neighborhood and you could hear power poles and tree limbs and lines snapping. You could hear, like, we lived in kind of a rural part of town and like we didn't have power for about 10 days. I remember going to my granddad's office downtown on Taylor Street because he had those old like butane insert heaters on the wall. And that was the only place we had heat. So like our family was in one room. Joe Coleman, who sold insurance, my granddad was in one. Sammy Smith and his family was in another. Like we had like 20 something people in this 1,500 square foot office, just living life, trying to stay warm.
Yeah. Our neighbors have gas logs. And so if all those fails, I've done all the prepping stuff. Like my family couldn't be, I feel like pretty confident. And where we live, I live on the same circuit as the hospital. And so my boss is like, obviously we got to get the hospital on. So hopefully we're a beneficiary of that. And we won't be out too long, but you know, given weather and the risks of weather, like this could be the worst for the grid. I do feel more confident in like it's not a tornado outbreak. Like, I'm not worried about like the safety of the community. Like when you see like a tornado drop down and rip through a city, like it's not that. Like, so I feel confident like leaving my family at the house, knowing that they can be rather warm and have plenty of food. But yeah, it's I'm pretty stressed about it. It's supposed to start, I guess, this evening, but the hard, dangerous stuff starting maybe tomorrow night. So yeah, T's and P's to your local power company, first responders, and stay off the road. Stay off the road if you.
One of the coldest I have ever been in my life was I was up at deer camp up outside of Bolivar, Tennessee, and one of the guys in the RV got up and went outside to pee in the middle of the night because we didn't have a bathroom in there, and it was like 12 degrees. And he shut the screen door, but not the hard exterior door. And I just remember waking up at some point in the night and grabbing the little blowing heater I had up on this little shelf and putting it next to me on the bed and thinking, I would rather die in a fire than be this cold, because it was just frigid in there. And so hopefully we don't have any incidents like that. People keep their power, keep things going. Maggie is nervous because her house is one of like 7 on the little grid that she's on. Like, it's one of the smallest little grids in Memphis. And so if she loses power, it will not be a priority as they're trying to get some of the bigger ones up first. It can take a little while. As
the local power company correspondent, let me speak to everybody that's on MLG&W as well. But the way this goes is you get the substations on first. You need to have the power supply there. And then it's like, or it's supposed to, the most people on the quickest. And so if you've got one outage that can get 1,000 people on, you go there first. And then the people that live in the remote areas where you're going to work for 3 hours to get 7 people on, like, I'm sorry, but just the math doesn't work out. You got to get the most people on the quickest. And so have some grace for your MLG&W folks as well.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully, they're overestimating a little bit and it doesn't quite be it's not quite as impactful over the next few days as we're anticipating. But absolutely T's and P's to the Uncle Bucks of the world for both Tippah County, MLG&W, Ace, Power over in Elkhorn County, like all the guys. I know y'all are gearing up. Hopefully y'all got some good rest last night and get some decent sleep tonight, because you might need it for the next few days.
Yep, that's true.
But as we head into it, I think we've done this topic before, but it feels relevant to kind of get into the show a little bit. We're going to give you some ideas to do at home so that your butts aren't out on the road navigating these treacherous roads in our Bucks Big Three.
We are the Two Bucks, and this is our sports show. We go live every single day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. for your lunch break entertainment. We're on Bluff City Media's YouTube, Twitter pages, and Rusty's Facebook page for his grandparents to watch along. And so we do shenanigans foolery to start our show, and on Fridays we do our Bucks Big Three, which is where we just come up with a topic and we pick 3 things underneath that category, and then we just leave it up to the people to say whose list is better, whose ideas are greater. And so today is going to be snow day activities, which is something that, as a Southerner who didn't see a lot of snow growing up, we held dearly. What the 1-2 days every 1 or 2 years that you get snow on the ground, it is like Christmas morning for us.
Yeah, so it always led to more buffoonery and tomfoolery. Like I said on the show yesterday, I can remember cutting donuts in the hayfield on a 3-wheeler, which is super safe, being pulled around on a car hood, a garbage can lid, a fishing boat, like all kind of stuff behind motorized vehicles for sleds. We had a big yard when we used to live next door to the Roaches, Amy Roach, Papa Glenn and Mama Vicky out, kind of out back, kind of outside of Farmington.
Did you say Papa Roach?
Papa Glenn and Mama Vicky is what we call it.
Also,
but it could be Papa Roach. Exactly. We had a long sloped front yard that we could like ride sleds down. And so like the few times we got snow, like it was always fun to be there and get out. So hopefully these will give you some ideas of stuff to do at home instead of getting out, like we said yesterday, and looking around at all the beautiful snow. Just get on Facebook and see everybody else's pictures. So Drew, I'll let you go first. What you got first on things to do on a snow day?
I'll go with the softball answer, and it's getting on a sled. I mean, and I grew up on a cattle pasture, lots of space, lots of ATVs, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, that kind of thing. That's the life that we live, the kind of stuff, the prototypical stuff you see from like a redneck town on your Hallmark movies. Like, that's what we did. Car hood was our favorite thing. I don't know where the car hood came from and whose car we stole it off of, but there was a car hood, and my favorite memory is like we would pull this car hood behind a four-wheeler, and you knew that it was time to go in. The snow has been had when you started smelling cow poop, because then you've worn the snow all the way down to like the earth as God designed it, and on top of that earth was poo platters from all of the head of cattle that we had growing up. And it's like, okay, we found the crap, so it's time to go inside. One time David got pulled around, got his foot hung in the car hood, and my Uncle Scotty was just having so much fun pulling him and trying to throw him off that he didn't even look back to check on him. And then like the whole family was like waving as if we were like stuck on a desert island. We saw a plane trying to get Uncle Scotty's attention because he was about to break David's leg off.
Well, thankfully that didn't happen. I can't confirm David still has both his natural legs. He has not lost one of them. Yes. I tell you what else, to be safer, like somewhat, if there's a lot of ice, you might want to be careful with this, but just going for a walk. Bundle up, put your scarves, put your hats, put your gloves. And there's nothing quite as quiet or peaceful as just like a snowy landscape, and you go for a walk. You don't realize how quiet everything is because you don't have all the busy cars and busy things going around. Just take you a little stroll. Definitely bundle up, but you could go sightseeing in your neighborhood if you take a walk and you ain't got to get in the car and drive.
Well, I mean, I thought we were doing fun things. That
is fun.
That is the most old man answer you've ever given in the history of the $2 Sports.
What are you dealing with here?
I'm like, good grief. If you're just going to go walk outside, I think I would say, how about put on the fire and watch a movie instead? Like, there's no fun.
Listen, my first answer was doing a puzzle, but I was like, we're gonna get outside first before that'd be a good day to do a puzzle.
Rusty's gonna be in his flannel pajamas and a robe doing a puzzle with his glasses pushed down to the tip of his nose. Like,
listen, there are like Maggie and I do a ton of puzzles, and there are a few things more fun than that. I do enjoy a good puzzle. You can call me old man if you want, but I don't want to give away my list yet, but me and King Meeks are kind of together, and Rusty's top two answers are going for a nice stroll in the snow and putting together a puzzle. So I'll let you guys pick who you want to hang out with this week. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. What's your second one?
Okay. Fun things to do in the snow. And this is all just garnered from like memories of childhood and what we had the most fun doing. We used to do snowball fights, and like extreme snowball fights, where instead of rolling up a big ball to make a snowman, we would just roll up a bunch of big balls and stack them together and make forts and bears in which to hide behind in the snowball fights. So I guess if you want to boil it down, it's like snowball fights, but I don't want you to think this is just like some sort of like, oh, we're just going to run around with no cover. Like, no, we're building shelters to hide behind for the snowball fight.
We used to do bottle rocket wars kind of similarly, where you'd build little forts to shoot bottle rockets at one another, and snowball fights was definitely a big part of that as well. When we would get snow behind the same forts that we use for bottle rockets, we would use that for snowball fights for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in the food genre. We've talked about it a little bit. Make sure that when you're getting your last bit of groceries, you're getting some sweetened condensed milk, get a little bit of sugar, some vanilla, and you're going to make some snow cream, because snow cream is goated. You don't get it very often. It's like Bluebell level ice cream, like good. You don't get it all that often. So make sure you get clean snow. Can't be yellow. Can't have any little dirt or anything in it. Make sure it's nice and clean. Yeah. Make sure it's nice and clean and ready to go.
Yeah. Best place to get snow is off the car hood. You know when to stop, and you can just rake it right into the bowl.
Exactly.
My last one, I will take an indoor activity that I hinted at a minute ago. And once you do all the outdoor fun stuff, you're frozen like a popsicle. You've been throwing snowballs and skipping across the snow as a rock would skip across the water. Going in, stripping off all your clothes, and putting on that fresh set of clothes, and then just watching a movie with your cousins, or in this instance, my family. It was the perfect way to end it. Yes, you're eating snow cream when you do this. You thaw out just enough to enjoy a bowl of snow that you were just playing in and watching some sort of movie. In our case, it was some sort of baseball movie, you know, Rookie of the Year, something like that.
Solid. And for my last one, it's something Uncle Buck and I have done many times together, and there's not many instances outside of arson where I can think that it's a bad thing. And that's build a fire, whether it's inside, outside, in a garbage can, in a fire pit, in your fireplace if you have one. Just build a fire because it just helps warm you. You can be outside longer because you can go warm yourself up by the fire and then go have a snowball fight, go continue your buffoonery in the yard, circle back to the fire, warm up a little bit. Like, just there are a few things better than a fire, and a fire in the snow is like elite fire making.
Yeah, it's the one thing I wish we had in our house is a fireplace, and that's just for logistical reasons right now, for safety reasons. I wish I had a fireplace, but we had a gas one growing up, and it just hits different. The heat feels different. It's not manufactured, rapidly heated over a you know, an engine block in your air conditioner. And obviously, I don't know anything about air conditioners, but it just feels like a legit warm.
Yeah. It's different. It warms you different. I can remember though, the problem with that, my papa growing up, he still got it in his house, but he's got one of those old Ashley cast iron fireplaces that just like when it gets hot, it's going to heat the whole neighborhood. And
I wish I had a wood burning stove. You know, those
I had one of those before, and it's so nice because you can build a big fire if you go to bed and it'll heat it all night. You can have your heat down a little bit lower, but it'll keep you warm. But I can remember going to visit him in the wintertime, and the doorknob would be hot because he'd have a fire rolling in the fireplace. He would also have the heat set on like 78 because he's so cold natured, always has been thin blood. Geez. And like, I remember like opening the storm door and grabbing the doorknob and be like, Mom, it's hot. And it'd be 30 degrees outside. And I'd have to sleep my window open so that I could actually breathe and not be on low roll while I'm trying to sleep.
When Haley and I went on our honeymoon, we stayed in a cabin in Asheville, North Carolina, and it had a wood-burning stove in there, and they provided all the wood and whatnot, and we had a good time. Didn't know what we were doing, and at one point, I think I had too many vents opened up, and we were watching a movie, and we just looked at each other and were like, "Are you sweating?" "Yeah, I'm sweating." "Are you sweating?" "Yeah, I'm sweating too." And
good old sweat
we just smoked it out. Had to open the door. It was like 30 degrees outside. Had to open the door just to ventilate some cold air in.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we appreciate y'all letting us build a fire and be tomfooling before the show as we get into it. Before we talk about the Grizzlies, do want to remind you, next Friday is our first Grizzlies watch party at Grind City Brewing. Come hang out with us as the Grizzlies take on the Pelicans. Hopefully, we'll have some good Ja Morant news before that about his injury. We're going to get into that on the other side of the bumper video. But y'all come hang out next Friday night. Bring some friends, 6:30. They're going to have a garage sale where they're going to have a lot of Memphis vintage stuff, a lot of people selling some old school vintage decor and clothing and different things, calling a garage sale that'll go right into our show. So y'all come hang out as we watch the Pelicans and the Grizzlies and then do our post-game bounce live from Grind City Brewing next Friday night. The Grizzlies do play tonight, Drew, but before we get into that, we did get some unfortunate news about Ja Morant that we've got to talk about.
We are the Two Bucks. It is 11:19 a.m. on the Friday edition of the show here on Bluff City Media. This show and all shows on Bluff City Media are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. That's what we use to frame our logic. And it's our Grizzlies segment, which means that we probably need to be playing the therapy music from yesterday instead of the nice upbeat pop music that we use in our bumper video to preview the Memphis Grizzlies. And ja Morant has a UCL sprain, tear, fracture. I don't guess you can fracture a ligament, but I don't know, man. He just went straight to out. He finished the game, had a 3-point shot to win it. It was his left elbow. So, listen, I don't know. I'm not going to be the one that at this point is screaming, "Oh, this means trade is imminent," because I just don't feel that right now. But it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. So your UCL, you're most commonly going to injure it as a baseball pitcher. It takes extreme stress in the cocking phase of a pitch, and as it comes through, it can cause rupture and tear, and ultimately what's called Tommy John surgery. All of us have heard that, how it can be detrimental and career-ending for some pitchers. Some come back from it. And Ja Morant apparently has a sprain of the UCL. We haven't gotten any. Exactly. They're exactly right. The Tommy John surgery, he should begin his throwing program in 6 to 9 months. So we haven't gotten any kind of a clarification. Literally all we got was a PR notification where they did it in alphabetical order, but Ja Morant's name is buried about midway down the list to where Ja's out. So a sprain could be a grade 1, which would be 2 to 4 weeks, likely back in no time and really not miss a whole lot. I do remember, I agree. This doesn't mean a trade is imminent. It's not like he's on the trade market, so we're shutting him down to keep him healthy. We already know he's on the trade market. But I think on the broadcast, they said after one of the chase down blocks that Ja was holding his arm, and just kind of in passing, they pulled him out, and then he came back in at his normal time. So he didn't really miss any time, which could be adrenaline, could be that it's not that bad. Either way, it's a bummer, right? Because all this talk about Ja being out and that Ja wanted to sit out and maybe he wasn't hurt, maybe he was. I don't know. We got 2 good games out of him and 2 games that showed who Ja Morant still can be. A 24-13 effort. And then he had 20-14 or 20-12 the other night against the Hawks. Only for him now to be out. And the streak continues that it's 3 consecutive seasons where he's not played more than 7+ games. We got 2 out of him this time. And it is bad injury luck. It's not like it's a fluke, calf strain or whatever. He did hold his arm on the broadcast. They did notice it. You can play basketball without a UCL if it is torn. He doesn't necessarily have to have surgery right now. Obviously, he was able to finish the game, shoot some shots. Maybe it wasn't quite as effective, but you can overcompensate and be able to play without it. But given the Memphis Grizzlies injury history, that's not going to happen. And so if there is imminent surgery, he's going to have it. I don't know. Until we get more information, I'm choosing not to panic. It's I'm not saying he's out for the rest of the year. I'm not going to sit here and say that. I'm going to hope it's a grade 1 and it's 2 to 4 weeks since he finished playing. But I mean, like Jalen said, man, play the NBA draft music. It is what it is. We've pushed Edie out 6 weeks. We've pushed out BC, Scottie Pippen Jr. all pushed out. Ty Jerome, we've got no updates, and it keeps going. He's still out. He's still out. Maybe we'll get that doubtful for Sunday, but at the same time, I honestly would not be shocked, and I'm not saying anything. I got no intel, not trying to say anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Ty Jerome has had a setback notification here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I could get why somebody would say that, but none of these injuries, they're being extremely cautious. It doesn't strike me as tanking. It just doesn't. Yeah, we're too good to tank. Well, it's just you sit healthy players if you tank. Just rest. You rest players,
or you slow roll them back from injuries is another way you can do that. I'm not saying it's a full hard tank because we are playing. We're being competitive. Yeah, but it's just we're slow rolling these injuries for sure.
And there's just no scenario in which the Grizzlies front office would slow tank by not playing Ja if they're actually considering trading him. And so this is not a data point, in my opinion, to support this is a slow tank.
2 things can be true. Ja Morant truly got hurt the other night, and I think he did. And because again, I think it was Breb that said he was holding his arm after one of the chase down blocks. And the Grizzlies could be slow rolling injuries to make sure we have better draft position. I won't even call it a tank, but they're like I said, I tweeted out when that notification came out about Edie and BC and all of them is I said this medical update is about draft position and draft position only. And that the way the season's going, I'm not saying we're tanking, but we're punting to next year. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, yeah, you're not rushing anybody back, but they never really have. They have always been cautious with this. I don't know. It's impossible.
Jaren is the only one. Jaren's done it twice in the last year that he's rushed back from injury, and that's the only one that I can think of.
And one, that was at the beginning of a season in which hope springs eternal this year, and last season when he was trying to get to 65 games. And so there's been I haven't seen any – there's no way to know, with us, with this team, how they're going, how this is a tank or not a tank, or what it would look like if we were going to tank. Like, it's just straight injury management. Like, it's always been that. And honestly, if Edey was to come back and be awesome, then you can make the case like maybe he could have come back 2 weeks earlier. I don't know, because we just always have been, with every player in every situation, regardless of seeding, current seeding, projected seeding, whatever, just always just been real big sissies when it comes to like getting guys back from injury. Like, we're always just going to be the conservative approach here.
I don't disagree, and I also don't disagree with Jared here that if we were 28-14, I think it would look a little bit different.
Probably. Yeah. I think that there's a real case to be made for that, but it's just conjecture because we don't know. Like,
we don't know.
It's impossible to know, but they have been consistent. Last year with the 2 seed, they were nursing Ja slash Ja sitting out, but like all those injuries last year when we were the 2 seed still seemed to drag on forever.
Which is what still drives me nuts, that we're in the midst of these games and we're playing our star players, our best players, sometimes 8 to 10, 12 minutes less than the other team is playing their best players, and we're still getting hurt left and right. So, like, clearly in my eyes, as basically a layman, I'm just a physical therapist. I don't understand all the data and all that stuff behind it. But I feel like I have a decent grasp on injury recovery and management and load management and the ability for your body to adapt to stress. Then why are we still being so freaking weird with these minutes then, man? Why is Cedric Howard playing 26 minutes when Jalen Johnson's playing 39 the other night? Like, I'm not asking us to play 39, but splitting the difference. And this is a 2-year ongoing problem, and we're still having the same old freaking injuries.
Yeah, it's definitely a philosophy. It's not the Cedric playing 26 minutes is not to limit injuries. It's just a philosophy at this point. Like, it is just a philosophy, and
it ain't working.
And it's crazy to think like the minutes restriction, like they put Ja on a 30-minute minutes restriction in the last game that he played when he hadn't played 30 minutes all year. Like, oh, your restriction is you're going to play your normal maximum amount of minutes.
That was Adam Silver looking Zach Clem in the eyes and saying, you can restrict his minutes, but he's playing 30.
Yeah. So
because he didn't against the Hawks the other night.
It's impossible to say, like, are we tanking? Are we slow? Are we being extremely cautious with these injuries? Because even when they're healthy, they're only playing like 25 minutes a game. So,
and we're still like, I think we can say that the short term, because it was shoved down our throats from Coach Tomas Isolo that we're looking at short term, medium term, and long term results. The short term sucked.
Bad.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And we'll pull this up here. The short term sucked. The medium term ain't real great either. And then we're now looking at long term being bad also. So at what point, Coach Zach, are we going to start seeing a return on our investment as fans, the effort and the investment that y'all are putting into this system and philosophy? Because through 42 games, it ain't great.
Yeah. If you divide short, medium, and long term into games, 27 games is a third of the season. All right. So the first 27 games, bad. About 500 actually. If you look at that, that's 30 games in which you were around a little less than 500. We're now in the medium term, and it's not looking good either. And I'm not here I think that playing more minutes gets your body equipped to play more minutes. Like, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. And if you play less, you're more likely to come up a little gimpy because you're coming off the bench cold more often in a game. We've not had the opportunity with Ja Morant and Zach Edey to see them get to a point in which other teams would trust them to get to 35 minutes because they're only playing in Zach Edey's only played 9 games. Ja Morant's not played more than 6 straight in his career at this point. So like, we're not even able to get to a point to where it's like, you can't play 35 minutes a night confidently.
Yeah. But yeah, I would love to see that, but that's an excellent point. As we head into the Grizzlies and Pelicans game tonight over on FanDuel, Grizz are a 5.5 point favorite, minus 220 on the money line. I put up here the third quarter winner because that's where we've done well in first halves, but the third quarter recently is where we start. That's in the Magic games in the Hawks game where we start kind of losing some control of the lead and the command that we have in that third quarter. Grizzlies are minus 150 to win the third quarter tonight. Drew, what do you think we need to see? We just talked about the minute restrictions and the minutes philosophy. What do we need to see coming out of halftime to correct some of these second half woes?
That's a good question. Just the same amount of intensity, I guess. The Grizzlies have been a really good first quarter team. Like, even both games in London and Germany were a great first quarter. We got off to a really good start in the first quarter against
Orlando
Hawks.
Or the Hawks.
Hawks. We got off to a 10-point lead early and we didn't hold it. It's just consistency. Like, we get very stagnant when Ja Morant is in there, and we get this team when they're not scoring points, it's because they slow down and they take early shots and they don't get into like a rhythm offensively. And that happens when you're not playing defense. And so everything's got to work or nothing works. You're not able to overcome when one aspect of the game is falling. And so you've got to play. It starts with the defensive end because you can't score unless you take the ball, you rebound, miss shots. If you're taking the ball out of the basket, you're cooked.
Yeah, and Man has a great point here. Shout out to our guy and all y'all in the comments. If you're here, give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. Share this on your socials. You can find it on Blessed City Media Grizzlies, Blessed City Media's YouTube, X page, my X page, Facebook, as Drew said earlier. I agree here. We do spend an awful lot of time in offensively anemic lineups with like Vince and Jalen and KCP and Santi and Jock. Like, some of these lineups that are allergic to scoring are hard to see when when the other team is kind of pulling out ahead of us in those third quarters. We see that a lot, and I understand that's the philosophy, that's the system, but the results aren't super great. And instead of playing more Cedric Coward with some of these lineups, so you at least are more Jaren, so you at least have some offense out there, some offensive pop. We continue to run out with these offenses that couldn't score on my brother's high school team. And so I think there's a fair argument to be made there to maybe tweak the system a little bit. Could be daggone stubborn, tweak it a little. I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater yet. I am. But let's tweak it a little bit and have an actual offensive player with a pulse out there with some of these lineups.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to get the ball moving around. You cannot. And honestly, the ball moves around better when John's not on the court. So I have confidence in this team despite Ja not being there, if not possibly a little bit more. You should beat bad teams. And New Orleans is a bad team right now. They're 10-36 and 26 games below 500, and they're relatively healthy. Jose Alvarado's out. DeJounte Murray's out. Everybody else is playing. Herb Jones is questionable. But you should win this game.
Yep. I mean, I agree. Last point on here before we start transitioning off the game tonight. The philosophy doesn't work with this amount of injuries. That's just my whole argument. Is like, you've got to scrap what you're trying to do with these minutes, lineups, and changes when half your team is hurt, particularly some of your best players are hurt. Like, there's nothing wrong with, we're missing Ja, we're missing some of these dudes. Play Cedric a little more. He's young. He can handle it. Play Jaren a little bit more. Get them up closer to 34, 35 minutes instead of getting 20-something minutes from John Conchar, who doesn't need to be out there that much because, yeah, he rebounds here and there and he can get a cool block on Anthony Davis. But, like, we need guys who can score. Like, we need dudes who can put the ball in the net, and we don't get that a whole lot. And so play our best on best more. We need best on best more than what we've been getting lately. And it's just frustrating to see this night in and night out when half our roster is missing. We're still trying to be cute and outsmart everybody, and it just makes us look dumber than a dummy, as Kathy Bates once said on The Office to Dwight. But tonight, over on FanDuel, for the Bucks' best bet of the day, you can get a couple. You can turn this into a same-game parlay if you would like. But a few bets that I feel good about tonight in the Grizzlies game against the Pelicans, because we're going to need this, all hands on deck. We're going to need this to actually make it work. The Memphis Grizzlies, again, face the Pelicans at home tonight. Cedric Coward plus 20 plus points. I'm putting a lot of confidence in stock with Tomas Isolo with this one to go over and let Cedric Coward, like, free Cedric Coward, because we need to see it. It would be good for fans to see, and it's just going to be a cold night in downtown Memphis. Let Cedric get hot. 20-plus points for Cedric is plus 285. I feel good about that if T.I. will let him go. You can get Cam over 22.5 points plus assists. So combined points and assists over 22.5. I feel good about that at minus 114. And then Jaren over 27.5 combined points and rebounds at minus 125. Feel pretty good about these bets tonight, Drew, against the Pelicans.
Yeah, I like the Cam Spencer. It's probably my favorite one, if I'm being honest with you. He's averaging like 7 or 8 assists a game in recent memory. No Ja Morant helps out a lot. I think that 22.5 is pretty much a lock for Cam Spencer. Jaren's liable to get that in the first half or get close in the first half and then fall short in the second half. He's gonna pick a half. Let's just be real.
I mean, we recently saw him have 20 and 10 in the first half. He would have crushed this, and then he just coasted.
So
listen, we all can relate to that. How many of us we work a little harder either early in the week or early in the morning so you can coast in the afternoons in the back half of the week? That's just what Jaren's doing.
Sometimes you get your sweat in and it's just kind of like, I think I've done enough for the day. If you just look at Jaren's stat line, he's like 20 and 10, that's great. And you don't search it any further. And it's like, 20 and 10 every night's great. And then you realize, you got that in the first quarter when you dive into it, the numbers a little bit. And it's like, well, what happened? It's like, what are you mad about? I got 20 and 10.
Exactly. Well, hey, before we head to the commercial break, the Memphis Grizzlies were featured in an article on ESPN.com talking about what lessons we have learned in the first half of the season. What have we learned about different Grizzlies players, Grizzlies teams? That's exactly right, Chris. Jaren he's got the yips, and he stays with the yips, especially in the second half.
It's not the yips if you don't. You can't like selectively have the yips. If you have the yips, you have the yips. It's not like.
And he had the yips earlier in the year, and he's kind of come out of it. Now he's just getting his work in the first half, and then he's taking the afternoon off.
It's like, no, I'm not going to go there.
So anyway, on ESPN.com, lessons learned for the halfway mark. My favorite one of all, and it's not the Memphis Grizzlies, obviously. It's the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat, the lesson at the halfway mark is Miami's new look offense has stalled. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, imagine that. It's one of those things that works well on paper. Noah LaRoche's thing was, we're going to do something that nobody's ever had success with doing before, and we're smarter than you, so we can make it work. And for a little bit of the season, I was like, maybe Miami's got the personnel that can do this because they don't have that one star player, that one ball dominant player that needs the ball in his hands to be successful. Their best player is, Bam Adebayo, who is known as being a rebounder and screen setter and, scoring second or third on the list for him. And Tyler Hero, who's just looking for open shots. And maybe it works for them. It doesn't. People figure it out. It's just, no.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
So, yeah, and they've been we could have told them all I had to do was ask. We tried it last year. Didn't work. Shifted to Miami. It works for a little bit. It's fun. It's trending. Then everybody catches up, and the good teams shut you down.
It works against bad teams. Teams.
So for the Memphis Grizzlies, there's no real shock here. The lesson at the halfway mark, per the writers at ESPN, is that Ja Morant might be on his way out, but he isn't helping. The article talks about NBA teams will put up with a lot if players are worth it, and Memphis sticking with Ja Morant this long is a prime example of that. But they're now open to trading him, and it suggests this 26-year-old guard no longer has the benefit of the doubt. Any flickers of Morant's all-NBA game, his stellar performance Sunday in London, and his 40 points against the 76ers have been exceptions to a season hampered once again by injuries and career-low shooting percentages. Drew, I don't really see any lies in this paragraph whatsoever.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Spot the lie. Right? I mean, we've lived it. I kind of hate seeing national media stuff like dig on the Grizzlies and them be right, because typically they dig on us and we found it to be unfair and overly critical, and it bonds us together. But in this case, it's just kind of like, yeah.
Okay. I mean, I see no lies.
I got excited. Here's a DeMichael Cole news that I thought was going to be regarding the snowstorm. It's not. The January 30th game between the Pelicans and Grizzlies, January 30th, a week from today, has been removed from ESPN and replaced by Toronto and Orlando. So if you want to know how the Grizzlies season is going, we just lost an ESPN game to Canada and Desmond Bain.
Right as I'm hyping up a watch party at Grind City Brewing for us to go watch it, we're now no longer on ESPN. How about that? We're just trying to have a decent show here. We're just trying to have a good show here. We're trying to talk about the Grizzlies, talk about Ja Morant, and we lose to Canada, of all places.
This is a favor for all of us who love the Grizzlies. We also love and adore Pete and Brevin, and this adds a game for us to enjoy Pete and Brevin and not an ESPN
there we
exclusive.
go. There's the positives. There we go. That's a GG Jackson spin move on the baseline is what that is for sure. So the Grizzlies play tonight, not on ESPN against the Pelicans. Be safe. This would be the last one you probably get to go to. I sold these tickets, anticipated to go Sunday. Sunday's going to be worse. Probably should have kept these tickets and sold Sunday. So that's fun. But watch it on from the comforts of your home. I believe Jared is on the post-game bounce tonight. So y'all stick around and watch that. We're going to hit a quick commercial break. I got a couple of a football topic that we're going to cover. We're going to talk a little bit about a potential new head coach for the Buffalo Bills, which will be interesting. And then I've got some betting data that I find interesting that we can talk about from the previous college football season. So y'all stick around on the other side of this commercial break, and we'll wrap this show up with a little bit of football talk.
In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. There's a lot that Penny has done wrong this year, but I also would suspect that if the Tigers, if the athletic department, if the university had fought for Penny's guys, if they had fought for them, I wonder if things would be different. I don't know if they would be. But, and there's probably more to the story that I don't know. But this is just sad, and this is what happened.
Penny looks broken. He looks like all these things, including the things you're saying, have broken him. But there's one thing that I think that you left out that I haven't heard anybody talk about. I think PJ Haggerty and the way that situation went down, it was like losing his first actual son on the court, man. He's the first kid that he got here that actually really panned out, as far as guards that he brought in. Because he's had a lot of guys here.
Kendrick Davis was that guy too, though.
Yeah, you're right. But he came in heralded. He was proven. He was that dude.
Right.
PJ came in, he was only a rookie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then, he's only a freshman, the year before. So he wasn't really proven. And he got him, and he made him into an All-American, bro. And I think losing that kid hurt.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Monday through Fridays at 1 p.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles.
Welcome back to the $2 Sports Show Friday edition of the show. We're on Bluff City Media's YouTube, X pages. And if you haven't already, get to YouTube. The chat is going off. That's where all the cool kids hang out. And if you're here, please hit the thumbs up button. Like the stream, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications. We'll let you know anytime a Bluff City Media show is live. You won't have to worry about reminding yourself or missing the time. Just let your phone do the work for you. You can do that by selecting and pressing the bell on the Bluff City Media page.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come hang out with us. The Anthony Hussein Show at 1 o'clock. The Daily Grind at 7:30 in the morning, and a litany of other shows throughout the week, including BK, Brevin Knight, and Rob Fisher on the Night Court podcast. And BK is truly one of, if not the best analyst in the game, right alongside Pete Pranica, who will be there tonight as well. We just don't know how fortunate we are to have Pete and Brev on our team covering our games for sure.
That's true. We got the best in the business.
Exactly. So a couple of last little items before we get out of here for the weekend. Phillip Rivers, yes, that Phillip Rivers, who was coaching high school football last year.
More kids than I've got.
Yeah, 21, 20.
I think he's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think he's 9 if I'm not mistaken. But coaching high school football, playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, now has an interview as for the head coaching job of the Buffalo Bills. I think if you want a guy who knows how to be a quarterback and maybe could help snap Josh Allen out of some of his funk, Phillip Rivers might be that guy, Drew.
Yeah, and he's kind of I can see him being a good culture guy because he's always been the guy that's not afraid to get hit, leader, long-time quarterback. But when is the last time somebody like that, like a Hall of Fame level quarterback or any position player, has actually worked out as a head coach in the NFL? Like, I can't think of one. John Harbaugh may be the best player coach that we've seen right now.
D'Amico Ryans is doing a bang-up job in Houston.
That's a good one. That's a good pull.
Mike Vrabel has been pretty good.
I was thinking quarterbacks, but yes, you're right.
I mean, there's been I'll give you that. There hadn't been very many quarterbacks, but there have been other like position like this, which is interesting. That's a great thought. I hadn't had that till just now. Quarterbacks, not so much, but like Dan Campbell, tight end, D'Amico Ryans, linebacker, Vrabes, linebacker. Like not as many quarterbacks.
What's the former Jags, former Eagles head coach, Doug? Peterson. Yeah, I mean, he won a Super Bowl, didn't he, as a backup quarterback? Got to his, yeah, and so maybe he's the best, like most accolades for a quarterback in the Professional Football League that's a head coach, but that went poorly after he won a Super Bowl. So,
because I'm trying to rack my brain, I think Jack Del Rio, he was a linebacker. Like, I wonder if it's one of those situations where people have always said Peyton would not make a good head coach because it comes so easy and natural to Peyton that he gets frustrated with others when they don't get it as easy as him. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe these quarterbacks are just so cerebral. Yeah, that they can't, it doesn't translate into coaching and leading others. Maybe Phillip Rivers will be the first one to break that curse and go win a Super Bowl with the Bills.
Did you see, this is a little out of left field, but Jim Harbaugh coming up in conversation reminded me of it. Did you see the video where I think it was the NFL sat down all the head coaches and gave them a stat? Okay, you did. Said
I did.
Who is the only active or what coach has more career rushing yards than Bo Jackson? And the answer was Jim Harbaugh. And John Harbaugh didn't even call him. Nobody knew. Nobody Jim Harbaugh has more rushing yards in the NFL than Bo Jackson by I think it was 2.
Yeah, but it's wild to think about because Bo had such a unfortunately short career because of the hip injury, and Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback forever with the Chargers and the Bears and the Colts and a few other teams, and I know I'm forgetting. But he made the dark visor for a quarterback cool on that Colts team. He played forever, and you don't think about that. He sure did.
So Frank Reich, I think, is the quarterback I was thinking of. He was the backup quarterback for the Bills. that went to the Super Bowl. So
right.
not Doug
Not
Peterson,
Doug Peterson,
but Frank Reich.
Yeah, interesting. Drew, I found this tweet, and with one of our partners being FanDuel, I thought this was just an interesting, like, kind of snapshot of, oh, dude, ball note right here. Real quick sidebar. Bo Jackson was cold on Tecmo Super Bowl, the old video game. Like, my brother and I would flip a coin for whoever got to be the Raiders, because whoever was the Raiders, you're probably going to win because Bo Jackson was freaking amazing. But cool.
Yeah, Tecmo
Super Bowl, yeah. So I saw this on Twitter earlier, and I thought it was interesting, Drew. There's some returns on betting on college football from this past year, and it kind of shows that betting is basically 50-50 with about a 2% margin of error there. So in college football, the home teams against the spread won 51% of the time. The favorites, 50.6% of the time. Home favorites, 51.2%, and home underdogs, 50.7%. The unders hit in 51.7% of the time. Unders in conference play, 50.1%, and unders in non-conference play, 55.3%. To me, this makes me feel better that I'm not the only one out there who has no idea, giving money to FanDuel left and right and not hitting on a ton of bets, because it's literally a 50-50 shot.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't want a business model in which one side or the other gets to win at a 75% clip. Like, if the house won 75% of the time, nobody would gamble, and if the public won 75% of the time, the casinos would go out of business. Like, it's just you live in the, if you can make $10 on every 100, then you can bet. If that's the long-term result there, make $10, $15 on every 100, and that's a sustainable venture for you as a gambler. And most people aren't going to do that. No,
they're not, because there's a reason that casinos are the biggest, brightest buildings, right? Go to Vegas. Yeah. They're massive. They're beautiful. They're big old bright buildings. And there's a reason for that. It ain't because they're handing out money left and right. It's because the house wins 51% or 50% of the time, probably even 51% of the time.
Right. Yeah. They've got to be making a profit from somebody.
I mean, that's it. And it was me this year in college football. I had a few that hit, but as always, I had more that didn't. Drew, I appreciate you being here today. Appreciate everybody in the comments as we wrap this show up and get ready for our weekend. I would ask what you're doing this weekend, but I think we all are aware of what you're going to be doing this weekend. Remind the people one more time what they need to do to prepare their houses and get ready for this storm.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, everybody in the South goes a little crazy when they hear snow and you go buy your milk and bread. And I typically laugh at those people, the freakouts, the first ones to the store anytime that you see a snowflake on the forecast. This is one you should have prepared for. Have your canned goods, have your bottled water, just stay inside, get you I know I went, because I don't have any gas heat. I went, and good luck. If you're listening to this for the first time now and think like, that's a good idea, I'll go look. Good luck. But I went and bought one of those indoor safe propane heaters, the little buddy heaters. That's what we'll be heating my house with, or my wife and kids will be heating our house with this weekend if we need it. Mainly just, my area of expertise is the electrical system. And so I'll just real quick let everybody know the guys, the linemen, the crews, the engineers, the power companies are going to try their absolute hardest through this. Like, it is going to be quite possibly a very slow slog there. So have some grace for those guys and stay out of their way. Like, if the roads are icy, don't go. I know the temptation is there to go see the damage, to do this. These guys are trying to get the power on, and they're going to be dealing with very tough, icy conditions. The last thing they need is for you and your friends to go out on the road and go sideways on a main thoroughfare and block up traffic and keep them from being able to, or hinder them from being able to get the power on in a speedy manner. And not to mention, it's just wholly unsafe. My guys are going to be on the sides of the roads working. That's where power lines are. Do not be on the icy roads where our guys are going to be 10 to 15 foot off the side and be sliding around the roads. Like, it's unsafe. Stay at home, That's the easiest way. And have a little grace, have a little compassion. Like, I know everybody's inside cold. Some of us are going to be hungry, miserable. You're not going to have TV. You're not going to have heat. I get all that. The linemen out there are in the cold. They're in the conditions. And I promise you, I know these guys personally, and I know what they're made of. They are trying their hardest.
Yeah, exactly.
They've got family at home too. So
I read
a little grace.
I want to ask you this. This might be ignorant, but I read this on a tweet the other day, and I want to make sure this is true. So if you do switch your house over to your generator to power your house, you need to turn the main breaker off.
That's right.
Is that correct?
That's right. That is one thing that we have preached to our guys and to the public. And this, if you have a generator, you plug it into the wall, and the power feeds in from a transformer into your breaker box, and the first thing it hits is your main breaker. So if you flip that to the off position, it keeps anything inside your house from going back, as well as anything outside from coming in. So if you plug up in a generator in your house, I hope you have one. Great. If you do, you're going to have a life of luxury. Hit your main breaker, turn it to the off position, because linemen, right-of-way crew, guys with chainsaws will be cutting trees off of power lines. And if you have a generator and you have not flipped it to the off position, to the open position, it will feed back onto the lines to varying degrees of strength, depending on how big your generator is, which means guys that are trying to get the power on have the potential for getting into some voltages here. We are prepared. Everybody uses gloves with ground. There's precaution there. But for just the community out there, which there will be some with chainsaws that try to help, even though I've advised you not to.
Yeah, multiple
Those
times.
are the people that you are putting at risk if you do not flip your main breaker to the off position if you're running a generator.
That's exactly right. So make sure y'all stay safe out there, stay warm. Y'all go be a friend to somebody who needs a friend. We'll be back here, at least I will be. I hope Drew is, live Monday at 11 a.m. Central on Bluff City Media's YouTube channel. Check out Anthony Sane at 1 o'clock today. And Drew, tell them why there are no refunds.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. If you see a lineman in your front yard, take him a sandwich. I'll see you when I see you. Rusty will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for listening to the $2 Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.